Hello everyone, I'm Dr. V. Welcome back to Burnout Medicine, where we burn out burnout. Just to put it out there, my thoughts are my own. They do not represent any institutions I've worked for or are currently working for. It's all me, Dr. V, and his thoughts and his ideas. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand. One thing that I really wanted to, make one of my first videos about is this concept of burnout and what does it mean? Why is it a problem, and what can we do in order to solve it or help find some sort of resolution? Because I think the way, at least I used to think classically of burnout, is this state of tiredness, right? I've been working X amount of hours for the week, and I haven't gotten much sleep because I'm doing extra work after hours. And I'm just tired. Physically, I'm tired. And that weighs on you mentally, right? If you're not getting enough sleep, mentally, you're going to be exhausted. That means you're going to be emotionally exhausted at work. And then you're going to not be as productive, as you once was prior to, falling into that cycle. And it seems that, the way we went about it is, well, we're feeling tired. We're tired. Therefore, we got that weekend off coming up, and boom, we're re-energized. We're ready to take it on. We got our vacation finally coming up, and we go on a vacation and come back. We're again revitalized, re-energized, only to enter back into the cycle of getting burned out a few weeks or even a few months down the line. And it makes it seem that we as healthcare providers are, either complaining of working too much or we're just being lazy, right? It's like, hey, you guys chose this lifestyle, you got to deal with the consequences thereof. And, I think it's so much more than that. I think it undermines what burnout really is. And by no means the healthcare industry is not the only industry that's impacted by this. It's almost all industries. Right, and it stems from, in my opinion, and I've heard this from other professionals. It stems from the fact that the ideals, the aspirations, our passions, and all that we came in with as healthcare providers, unfortunately, has been bastardized by the system we work for. Not necessarily the institution that you work for, but the healthcare system overall. Because the overarching theme of the healthcare system is to generate dollars. Let's be honest, right? It's to generate money. That's why the EMR has come out. That's why there's all these policies, rules, regulations, and this is including the insurance companies into all this. This is why there's so much red tape under the guise of, patient first, patient care, patient wellness, and also under the guise of, not necessarily under the guise of, but using our ideals, our morals, our ethics, and using them in a way where it pushes our hand to either comply with the system, or we cannot be those excellent providers that we have promised, not only to our patients, but to ourselves to be, right? We made a promise to ourselves, to each other, to take care of people with the utmost excellence, with the utmost professionalism, and with the utmost compassion that we can. And the system uses that against us in order to achieve their goals, in order to achieve their profitability, in order to achieve whatever standard that they set that does not line up with ours. And that's where the root of all of it is. It's the root of burnout is the fact that our ideals, our passions, our aspirations, dreams, goals, whatever you want to call it, those are in constant battle and struggle with the ideals, aspirations, goals, etc. of the, healthcare system at large. And what does this lead to, right? Like, why is this a big deal? So what, as a healthcare provider, most of us have secure jobs, we make good money, we have good benefits. Why should we be complaining, right? Comply with the system and just deal with it. Well, it leads to having healthcare providers that are taking care of patients that are not healthy themselves. And, I'm talking about physically and mentally. Think about how many providers struggle with depression and anxiety, struggle with thoughts of suicide. People have struggled, some have completed, suicide. And there are providers who turn to alcoholism or drugs or other addictions that unfortunately they can't function, without those things in order to cope, in order to deal with the overgrowing burdens at work that do not involve actually taking care of the human being in front of you. And, I like to think back into med school for me personally, but it could be any school, nursing school, physician assistant school, whether you went to school to become a medical assistant, whatever field you're in medicine, and thinking back to, your personal statement, why you want to be X. And I'm willing to bet that for most of us, it was to take care of people, to help people, to impact lives, to change lives, to, change our families' lives, honestly, right? Me personally, I'm the first one in my family to complete college, to be a doctor, to be those things. And for a lot of us, we're the first in our families to, quote unquote, make it, right? And we came in with these ideals and these aspirations of, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of people and impact their lives. And for the most part, most of us have. I know I personally have, and I'm sure everyone out there listening has their story to tell. They have their story, to share. And as we get deeper and deeper into the healthcare system, we find that it's muddied, it's muddled with, frankly, a lot of BS that is under the guise of patient care, right? Making sure we prescribe the right medications so their insurance will cover it, even though there's, proven better medication or management scheme, dealing with satisfying, policies and that are geared more towards us being more productive, and thereby, productivity equals better patient care, which sometimes it doesn't, right? More productivity just means, more opportunities for billing, more opportunities for generating revenue. And that constant struggle makes going to work not worth it, right? I'll only speak for myself. I know I've been at times at work where it's like showing up late. I'm bitter at work. I will go ahead and start not caring about certain things just because I'm just emotionally exhausted, emotionally out of it. I don't want to talk with my family. I don't want to talk with anybody. I'm just like, yo, leave me alone. I just want to go to work, get it done, go home, call it a day. And, I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that I'm a slave to the system and allowing that to impact what I do at home. And I know this has hurt a lot of healthcare providers out there. And the pandemic that we're in has only exacerbated that. Look at how many people in the healthcare industry, people who truly in their heart of hearts, have dedicated part of their lives or most of their life to the service of others, right? To heal the sick or to be a participant in that, to be part of that team that changes lives. And how many of them just quitting in droves? And this was even prior to the vaccine mandate and any other mandates that this pandemic, only boiled over, only exacerbated. And, I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. I don't think we have to allow the system itself to overburden us on an emotional level to where now we're carrying that to our household, right? Just think about it for yourself. And have you ever noticed, your attitude changes when you're coming home from work, directly after work versus you had a day off and then you're coming home from going out somewhere, doing what you love, or you come home from work and you just had an amazing day. You weren't overburdened by the extra work or anything like that. You just took care of people, and whether it had good outcomes or bad outcomes, like, it's like I went out there and I lived up to my ideals. I lived up to what I'm really passionate about. And I think, in my opinion, that's kind of where the root lies to all this, and this concept that we call, burnout, which, again, most professionals that I've heard have called it a moral injury, right? An injury against our ideals, our passions, our morals, our ethics. And, we shouldn't have to deal with that on the level that we do. And unfortunately, the only way to fight it is by changing the system, right? The system needs to change as a whole. Again, this is not a knock on institutions and that, because institutions all fall under one big umbrella that we call healthcare. They're just trying to live up to the ideals that's been established by the powers that be, that dictate that X, Y, Z equals excellent patient care, and not really taking into account our ideals and our passions. So how do we go about fighting this, right? I think we need to bring it to the forefront. I think we need to not be afraid to say, this is a problem, this is an issue, and we should go ahead and put it out there, without having to worry about, consequences or recompense for voicing your opinion, for voicing, what it is that the system is doing to you. And, I think the way we combat that on an individual level is by uplifting each other, encouraging each other, and really not allowing the system to make us bitter, to push us in the direction of depression, push us in the direction of anxiety or addiction or something worse. And I believe we should be able to be excellent providers, excellent, husbands, wives, aunts, uncles, brother, sister, whatever, and excellent friends. And we deserve to be excellent to ourselves. We should be able to provide that care and also have that amazing life that we want. And this is true for all industries. I'm just speaking to the healthcare industry because I'm a healthcare provider myself. And I don't think that we need to stand for or tolerate, that kind of idea that, you have to, be this way, think this way, do things this way in order for you to live up to your ideals. And then I say, no, we should be able to take command of our own lives and strike that balance, whatever that balance may be. It doesn't need to be even time necessarily, but it needs to be the time that, we spend at work and the time that we spend after work doing extra things and the time we spend with our families, friends, whatever that balance is, we should be able to strike that balance. We should be able to go ahead and, again, be excellent providers, be excellent, friends, be excellent family members, and be excellent to ourselves, without apology. We shouldn't apologize for wanting those things. And I think we can achieve that. And I think it starts first and foremost with ourselves and kind of, working on what it is that we can do on an individual level to combat this, issue of burnout, and then how that can go ahead and propel us to change the system, to impact the system in such a way where it's now the ideals of the providers that are driving patient care, that are driving patient policy, that are driving insurances to cover whatever it is that needs to be covered for the patient, as opposed to the powers that be, whoever, manages this giant system, be it your federal government, local government, state government, whatever the case may be. instead of having them dictate to us what our ideals should be, what our position should be, what our passion should be. We should be able to go ahead and find that happy medium, find that balance in our lives where we can fulfill those things and be fulfilled. And I think that's where it is. We're just not fulfilled, as providers at work, because it's always in competition with what we aim to do and what we strive to do. So I just want to speak on that, on burnout itself. Please leave a comment below about what you think burnout is, and what's your opinion on it. Do you think, hey, just a bunch of providers being lazy, they should shut up and get their, they're gonna go ahead and get their paycheck and they live well off, and it shouldn't be an issue, or I think that's BS. But should we speak about this more? Should we bring this more to the forefront? Should we go ahead and make it so that we put the recognition out there that, hey, this is plaguing our healthcare providers, and again, this is happening in other industries. This is not a unique thing to us. And leave a comment like how you want to combat it. How do you think we should bring it to the forefront? And tune in for the next video that I'm gonna put out videos twice a week. And we're gonna go ahead, tackle things, gonna have some fun, like I said, and leave your comments below what you want to see, what you want to see this channel do, what you want to see it grow into. Thank you all for tuning in again. I'm Dr. V, Burnout Medicine. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. I love you all. Take care.